I've been reborn back to the day I confessed my feelings to my childhood friend. Amid the jeers, he looked at me, my eyes red from crying, and asked coldly, Lin Yue, yeah. Do you find it amusing to seek attention? He turned and looked tenderly at the woman by his side. Wait a minute. I'll come find you as soon as I'm done. He lectured me impatiently. Why do you cry so easily? Read more books when you have time. Don't spend all day thinking about love and romance. I was so annoyed that I shoved him aside and lunged at the school bully who was standing behind him. Watching the show. Honey. I held the person in my arms and wept uncontrollably. 18-year-old Chechen is still alive. There's still time for everything. Before he died, Chechen made me promise to live to be 100 before going to find him. I agreed to do it. But then I went and lied to him. We rushed over on the third day. Before closing my eyes, I made up an excuse for myself. When I saw him, I told him I dreamed that he was hitting on other female ghosts down there. Actually, I wasn't dreaming. I can't sleep at all without him. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back at the age of 18. I held the flowers as the cheers around me rose and fell. Confess. Confess. The crowd was bustling, but I spotted that eye-catching mop of yellow hair the moment I looked up. He stood in a corner where no one noticed him, his gaze drifting over me casual yet deliberate. I looked at him, and tears welled up in my eyes before I knew it. Just as he was about to speak, Xinyi's voice cut in. Lin Yue, yeah. Do you find it amusing to seek attention? It was only then that I noticed the person standing before me. He furrowed his brow slightly, his expression cold. The lively atmosphere came to a sudden halt. It wasn't until Su Xing broke the awkward silence. Xinyi. We need to confirm your acceptance speech. Xinyi turned his head to look at her. Wait a minute. I'll come find you as soon as I'm done. His expression was unusually gentle. Su Xing is just as much of a top student as Xinyi. Someone once joked that the two of them were academic stars and a perfect match. Su Xing, however, dismissed it with a scoff. I'm not the kind of girl who thinks about nothing but romance. At that moment, Xinyi looked at her with a rare sense of admiration. He once told me that he doesn't like girls who think about nothing but romance. But back then, he was all I could think about. I even fantasized about confessing my feelings to him on my birthday wouldn't embarrass me. It wasn't until later that I realized what he hated most was my moralizing. Just like right now, he took the flowers from my arms, looking a little impatient. You should read more when you have time. Instead of spending all day thinking about romance, I was taken aback. Whispers rose from the crowd. Look, Lin Yue is crying. She's been sucking up to Xinyi for all these years, and now the school beauty has become a laughingstock. Man, I feel so embarrassed for her. In my past life, I did indeed burst into tears out of embarrassment, but right now, all I can see is that guy with the blonde hair in the corner. I stared straight at him and opened my mouth, trembling, unable to speak. Tears just kept streaming down. Seeing me like this, Xinyi frowned inside. Lin Yue, yeah. Why do you cry so easily? I'm so annoyed. He kept talking and was blocking my view. I shoved Xinyi aside and rushed into the arms of the person I had lost and then found again. Honey, honey, I'm so glad you're still alive. Sniff, sniff. A warm chest. The familiar scent of sunshine. I held him in my arms and wept uncontrollably. The person in his arms stiffened. It's not me. You must have the wrong person. Her face flushed all the way to her ears. Lin Yue, yeah. Who are you calling husband? Xinyi's voice came from behind him, tinged with a touch of anger. How many more times are we going to use the same trick? Come to think of it, in my past life, I often acted all lovey-dovey with other guys just to make Xinyi jealous. He gets angry, but he'll also just give me a quick pat on the back to cheer me up. Except this time, the other guy was a petty thug he looked down on the most. I held Chechen in my arms and wept even more bitterly. Wah, honey, you're really still alive. I couldn't believe it. I slipped my hand inside his shirt, desperate to check if he had that fatal wound from a past life on his chest. Chechen was quite startled by my actions. Holy crap. What are you doing? I choked out. Take off your clothes and show me. His face flushed instantly. We're decent people. I started crying even harder. Wah. Honey, I want to see it. Please. Let me see it. He didn't know where to put his hands. Finally. He lowered his voice in resignation. Whoa. Can we wait until no one's around before we look? Watching this, Chinyi looked on with disgust. Lin Yue, yeah. Aren't you ashamed of yourself in front of everyone? This time, I won't sugarcoat it. He turned and walked away. The crowd dispersed in a huff. Miss. The show's over, why won't you let go? The voice from above sounded a bit mocking. I just kept shaking my head, clinging to his neck and sobbing uncontrollably. I won't let go. I'll never let go in this lifetime. 18-year-old Lin Yue has neither a broken leg nor depression. 18-year-old Chi-Chen hadn't yet stepped in to shield her from the knife. It's not too late. Chi-Chen couldn't believe it and threatened me. So, can I go now? He carried me out of the classroom. As soon as I stepped outside, I heard the dean's voice. Hey, Chi-Chen, why aren't you training properly? What are you doing hugging a female classmate like that? I still held him tightly, seeing that I wasn't reacting. Chi-Chen blushed and explained. Sir, a girl has broken her leg. I'm going to carry her to the infirmary. The director's tone softened slightly. You're a pretty kind-hearted guy, aren't you? It suddenly occurred to me that Chi-Chen was just like that in his past life. Take me all over the world to see the sights, and help me with my physical therapy, until everyone had gone far away. He looked at me, clearly at his wit's end. Come on, Miss Lin, what are you playing at? I wrapped my arms around his neck and wouldn't let go. Honey, it sent a chill down his spine, and he clenched his teeth. Don't call me husband. Who's your husband? You're my husband. I pouted in frustration. I love my sweet husband the most. His head was about to explode. He reminded me in a low voice. Miss, do you remember who threw away my love letter yesterday? I felt a bit awkward for a moment. This really couldn't have come at a worse time. Chi-Chen did confess his feelings to me once. And at the time, I stomped on his love letter with all my might. I really hate athletes like you, all brawn and no brains. Come to think of it, I'm just a flexible, simple-minded dance student myself. Actually, I don't really dislike Chi-Chen that much. It's because I hate Chinyi that I've taken my hatred out on everyone associated with him. He hates all idiots, especially someone like Chi-Chen, who gets bad grades yet still acts like a bully at school. I blinked and explained with a sincere look on my face. What happened yesterday was actually a test for you, and hereby warrant that. Honey, from now on, you're the only one I'll ever love. Chi-Chen's mouth twitched slightly. Ouch. Could you please stop calling me honey? I shook my head. No. He gritted his teeth and accepted his fate. Ugh. Just yell whatever the hell you want. He looked at me, curled up in his arms like a koala, and sighed. But, Lin Yue, yeah. You're a human, not a monkey. Can you get off me? But I want to hold you a little longer. Honey. His Adam's apple bobbed. Her ears turned red. 18-year-old Chi-Chen is so adorably fierce. Chi-Chen turned around, picked me up, and took me to his second uncle's house. The old man reads fortunes at the end of the alley, muttering to himself every day. Sir, it looks like she's possessed. Uncle Air stroked his mustache and gave me a look. Huh. His eyes or bloodshot must have caught something. As he spoke, he pulled out a piece of yellow paper and drew a talisman. Wear this charm to ward off evil spirits and protect yourself from misfortune. Chi-Chen left me outside and gave me some instructions. Wait here for a moment. Don't follow me. I'll be right back. I didn't listen to him. I quietly followed him outside. All I could hear was him asking in a low voice. Sir, I was wondering if there's a talisman that would keep her evil forever. I felt a quiet sense of joy. You little rascal. You've been head over heels for me for ages. Even banging your head against the wall for me. Chi-Chen, in this life, let me be the one to run to you. I live with the Shin family. The two families have been close friends for generations, and the children were betrothed when they were still young. When I was 10, my parents passed away unexpectedly, and Shani held my hand tightly. Oh no, you still have me. I'll always be here for you. I moved in with the Shin family, and his parents treated me very well. I've been taking dance lessons since I was a child. So his mother hired the best teacher for me. My closet is filled with the pretty clothes Aunt Shin bought for me. But no matter how good things are, I'm still not their child. They had originally intended for me to be their future daughter-in-law. It wasn't until I broke my leg and could no longer walk properly that he decided such a daughter-in-law was a disgrace. And he said to me, "Xiao Yi, we've always treated you like our own daughter. And Xiao Yi thinks of you as her own little sister. Don't worry, we'll definitely find you a good husband." At the dinner table, Mr. and Mrs. Shin served me food and asked about my schoolwork. Thinking back on what they said in my previous life, I found it somewhat amusing. I put down my chopsticks and bowl. "Uncle and Aunt, I'd like to live in the dorms at school. That way, I'll be able to focus better on my studies. As you know, my academic performance isn't very good." They were a little surprised. How can anyone live in such terrible dorm conditions? "Xiao, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Xiao Yi gets good grades, just ask him to tutor you." I shook my head calmly. "No, thanks. He's been busy with competitions lately, so I don't want to bother him." Aunt Shin seemed to have sensed something. "Did you two have a fight?" Shani didn't say a word, and I smiled. "No, he's been really good to me, and I've always thought of Shani as my own brother. In the future, he'll surely find a daughter-in-law for his uncle and aunt who's just as wonderful as he is." Shani paused for a moment and glanced at me. I wasn't very hungry, so I got up and went to the bedroom. But as I lay in bed, just as in my past life, that familiar feeling of insomnia came over me once again. At that time, I was suffering from severe depression and relied on sleeping pills to fall asleep every night. It wasn't until she started dating Chichen that she gradually began to heal. People who suffer from insomnia are always anxious and irritable. I just got up and went to the living room to pour myself a glass of water. I never expected to run into Shani. "Have some. You didn't eat much tonight." He brought me a bowl of my favorite chicken wonton soup and set it down in front of me. "Are you still upset about what happened earlier today?" He crouched down in front of me and sighed helplessly. "I'm just upset that you're in your senior year of high school and aren't focusing on your studies." Seeing that I didn't say anything, he reached up and ruffled my hair. "All right. Don't be upset. Okay." He let out a helpless chuckle. "You silly goose. He's always like that whenever I've been wronged. He'll gently say something kind to me. I'm such a fool, I keep forgiving him over and over again. I'm fooling myself into thinking he likes me, because he's kind to me and does little things for me that seem so thoughtful." Seeing that I wasn't responding, he ruffled my hair again, his tone full of affection. "Do you think our future kids will be as silly as you?" He had said those very words in a past life. At that moment, I was deeply moved, thinking that he had given some thought to our future. Little did they know that it was a teacher who made that remark after he and Su Xing received their awards. If these two end up together, their kids are going to be so smart. He doesn't want to marry me and have children. Rather, he's worried that being with me in the future will affect his children's IQ. I forced a smile and looked at him. "Don't worry. We won't have children." Shani let out a sigh and frowned. "Lin Yue, yeah. I'm busy too. I don't have time to put up with your inexplicable mood swings." I smiled calmly. "It won't happen again." Shani stopped trying to comfort me and turned to go back to his room. I left the house with dark circles under my eyes and went to bang on Chi Chen's door. Chi Chen's parents are divorced, and he lives in a house near the school. As soon as the door opened, I threw myself into his arms without a second thought. "Honey, I want to sleep with you. You. He looked stunned, holding his hands up, not knowing what to do. "No way. Lin Yue, yeah. I don't fucking do that kind of work. I can't sleep without you." I held him tight, my voice trembling with tears and exhaustion. "Honey, I'm so sleepy." He lost his temper again. cursing under his breath. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I managed to get into his bedroom. As soon as I lay down on his bed, he grabbed a pillow and ran into the living room. I quickly grabbed his hand. Where are you going? Sleep on the couch. No. Let's sleep together. I clutched his hand tightly, looking pitiful. I can't sleep without you by my side. Honey, in a past life, Cheech was just like my little Abe. With him by my side, I always slept soundly and felt at ease. I whined and clung to him, refusing to let go. Furious, he flopped down on the bed. Fine. I'll sleep. It's not like I'm the one losing out. Let me tell you. A thug like me is capable of anything. He was spouting threats, but she turned away, blushing, and moved far away from me. I happily walked up to him and wrapped my arms around him from behind. My hand instinctively reached down. He sat up with a start, clutching his blanket. Lin Yue, yeah. Where are you touching? I look all pouty. It feels so secure to hold. You feel secure now. But what about me? He clung tightly to himself, like a chaste and steadfast man. Sometimes I really feel like calling the police on myself. You know you love nothing more than sleeping naked in my arms. He couldn't believe it. What? Since when do I like sleeping naked? After you're with me. After we got married. Cheech took to sleeping naked and insisted that I join him. Under the guise of skin-to-skin contact being comfortable. I have to admit, it really is comfortable. Cheech stared at me, his mind full of questions. Lin Yue, yeah. Are you possessed by some kind of spirit that needs to feed on men's vital energy to survive? So, are you going to let me have a drag? His face instantly flushed bright red. And he firmly refused me. Don't even think about it. Let me tell you, I'm a good student. I am definitely not getting involved in early romance. I really can't fall asleep unless I'm holding you. I curled my lip. Honey, a flicker of conflict crossed his eyes. Well, just hold it. Can you do it? He was both frustrated and helpless. Please. I'm begging you. I didn't start dating Cheech until I was 25. God only knows how Cheech, who's usually so flamboyant and flashy, could have been so innocent at 18. It really sparkles and is so charming. 18, such an innocent yet capable age. An innocent high school-aged boy, the rich woman's favorite. This is just unbearable. Can I take a look? 18, such a fresh, youthful age. Harder than diamonds. What are you looking at? He looked as if someone had stepped on his tail. His ears were bright red, and his eyes darted about in panic. Lin Yue, yeah. Are you even a girl anymore? Oh, he doesn't get it. At 28, she's in the prime of her life. I bit my lip in frustration. Honey, even calling him dad won't help. He wrapped me tightly in the blanket like a rice dumpling and pinned me down from the outside. Go to sleep. And don't call me hubby anymore. I nodded. Okay. Honey. No. Okay. Cheech. That familiar scent. That familiar heartbeat. Me little Abebe is back. I looked at him. Then, at 18, spoke softly. Cheech. I haven't been possessed. Actually. I'm from 10 years in the future. I am Lin Yue, and I'm 28 years old. Oh. Why don't you just say you're a fairy who's come down to Earth? Really? I really am from 10 years in the future. He gave a perfunctory nod. Sure. I'd even believe you if you said you were from Mars. You don't believe me, do you? I thought about it for a moment. She glanced down at him. You have a mole there. He jerked suddenly, his face a picture of shock. Lin Yue, yeah. When did you sneak a peek? Me. 7 years from now. He paused for a moment. Did you really travel here from 10 years in the future? Once again, I couldn't resist my curiosity. So, did I win the world championship 10 years later? Of course. You won the world championship at 22 and a Grand Slam at 25. No one in the world can swim faster than you. Holy crap. Am I really that awesome? He was a little excited and pressed further. What about you? Have you become a famous dancer too? I lowered my head slightly. Of course. We got married. There was a hint of caution and nervousness in his voice. Well, we've been together since high school. After you won the world championship at age 22, you proposed to me in front of the whole world. His eyes lit up, and he asked again, "So, are we having a baby?" I nodded with a smile. Well, after we both became unrivaled in our respective fields, you announced your retirement at age 28. And I gradually shifted my focus from the stage to the classroom. That year, we had our own child. I tried my best to hold back the stinging sensation in my nose. He didn't propose to me at all the year he won the world championship. I've been drifting through life, making a complete mess of it. Cheechan pulled 25-year-old Lin Yue out of the abyss, but she dragged him into the darkness. Fortunately, at 18, there's still time for everything. That was a refreshing sleep. Cheechan left for practice early. He has been swimming since he was 7 or 8 years old, and for more than a decade he has trained with unwavering dedication, pushing his physical limits every day. The hardships involved are far beyond what one might expect from simply studying hard. When I arrived at the classroom, I ran into the homeroom teacher. "Since Tsukino's here, the graduation party is coming up soon. How are the rehearsals going?" I froze for a moment, a bit taken aback. My desk partner beat me to it and answered for me. "Teacher, Tsukino is an amazing dancer, and she did a great job leading our rehearsal, with Xinyi's piano solo added to the mix. It's going to be absolutely stunning. Our class is definitely going to win first place." Okay. Let's get right to rehearsing. We suddenly remembered that the graduation party is coming up soon. All the girls in the class are putting together a group dance performance. The boss gave the go-ahead, a rare chance to relax. "Everyone, come to the dance studio to practice." The program featured all the girls in the class performing a classical dance, with Xinyi providing backing vocals and piano accompaniment from the side of the stage. Xinyi has been a talented pianist since childhood, and his tone is quite good. I really wanted to share this honor with the team, so I begged him for a long time before he finally agreed. But right now, in the rehearsal room, Su Xing was running late. One student couldn't resist making a sarcastic remark. "Hey, Su. You straight-A student. Everyone has to wait for you every time. Can't you show a little team spirit?" Su Xing remained calm. "Sorry. The principal just called me over and asked Xinyi and me to give a speech as outstanding student representatives at the gala." His voice wasn't particularly high or low, yet it carried an air of superiority. Someone muttered under their breath, "What are you showing off for?" After Su Xing joined the group, I continued with the rehearsal we had just started. "All right, let's review yesterday's moves one more time, and then run through the whole routine with Xinyi." Everyone danced well, except for Su Xing, who once again couldn't keep up with the rhythm. At this point, discontent was growing. "Hey, Su Xing, what's going on with you? You didn't learn the moves yesterday, and you said you'd practice on your own. Why can't you keep up today?" "Exactly. Can you please stop holding us back? A straight-A student is supposed to be good at everything, right? Can't you even manage something this simple?" Everyone chimed in. A flash of displeasure crossed Su Xing's face, and he replied coldly, "It's just a little graduation show. Why should it take up my study time? Before you criticize others, you should take a look at your own achievements. How can you bring yourself to waste your youth like this? What's the point of doing this dance? Will it give you extra points on your college entrance exams?" I couldn't hold back my anger either. "Su Xing, you were the one who showed up late and didn't practice the moves properly. Why are you blaming others for your mistakes?" She chuckled. "Lin Yue, yeah. You're the one who wants to steal the spotlight. Why are you dragging others into it just to make yourself look good?" Some people couldn't stand it anymore. "This is a team achievement. How did it turn into Tsukino stealing the spotlight? She's a dance major. If she doesn't take the lead, do you expect someone like you, who can't even turn properly, to step in?" At that, everyone burst out laughing. Su Xing looked a little embarrassed and muttered dismissively, "I can't be bothered to argue with you guys. It's totally pointless. One sentence was enough to piss everyone off. Come to think of it, Su Xing wasn't very popular in class. She once coldly remarked, "I don't like hanging out with girls. Girls are too calculating. I'm not like them." She really is different from us. While everyone else is secretly reading mindless romance novels, she's poring over a collection of Tagore's poems in the original English. When the teacher asked her to share her solution to the problem, she wrote down a bunch of complicated formulas and said, "This is a calculus formula, something you don't learn until college. I guess only Shani would understand it." Many of the girls in the class think she's too pretentious, but Shani took him for a kindred spirit. They even think that I was the one who led the effort to isolate Su Xing and bully her. Shani stood up for her, but she merely said indifferently, "Never mind. I won't waste my breath arguing with a fool." Shani admired her even more. Someone once said that a top student like Shani tends to be attracted to girls who are his equal. They were all talking about intellectual love. In his eyes, I was nothing more than a simple-minded art student. "I don't care, I'll just clap my hands." "In that case, Su Xing, you'd better not dance." He stared at her and gave a mocking smile. "After all, you really do look funny when you dance." Another burst of laughter. "You." She was so angry she couldn't speak. Chen Yi, who was standing nearby, couldn't stand to watch any longer. "Lin Yue, yeah. Why are you being so rude? Does that sound bad?" I sneered. "But in my last life, after I broke my leg," she spoke to me in this tone. "Lin Yue, yeah. The way you walk is really funny." I was just copying her. She didn't break her leg. A flash of anger crossed Shinyi's eyes. "You guys just can't stop bullying Su Xing, can you?" He stood in front of Su Xing and declared, "I'm telling you, if she quits, I'm quitting too." Su Xing was so moved that her eyes welled up with tears. "Chen Yi, I don't care. I just laugh it off. That's great. In my previous life, Su Xing didn't want me to steal the spotlight, so she deliberately tripped and fell at Chen Yi's feet during the performance. Chen Yi instinctively reached out to steady her. The music came to an abrupt halt. The entire show fell into a silent awkwardness. In the chaos, everyone lost their rhythm, and their movements were completely disorganized. However, Chen Yi was commended for his instinctive act of saving Su Xing. Both of them are good students, so the teacher naturally likes them. The teacher said that friendship comes first and competition second. Chen Yi's behavior was the best example for everyone to follow, and he was even awarded a special prize. As he was receiving his award, Su Xing deliberately waved at me. "Tsukino, could you take a picture of us, please?" The entire audience gave them a warm round of applause. She and Chen Yi were beaming with joy. Meanwhile, the girls in the class were so upset that they were crying backstage. After Chen Yi and Su Xing left, everyone was at a loss because they no longer had backup singers. "Tsukino, if it doesn't work, just play the background music," someone suggested. With a sigh, I waved my hand. "It's okay. Someone else can step in." In my past life, when my depression was at its worst, Chi-Chen would often hold me in his arms and sing in my ear. He really had a beautiful singing voice. Later, after my leg had healed, she encouraged me to take up dancing again and return to the stage. I danced while he played the piano to accompany me. I immediately pulled out my phone and called him. "Chi-Chen, our show needs you to perform a piano solo and sing." Without a moment's hesitation, "No way." I went straight for the killer move. "Honey, honey, honey, shut up. Honey, wait. No, I'm on my way." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Judging by that reaction, he's practically Pavlov's dog. Chi-Chen arrived swiftly, though he was deeply reluctant to do so. When Chen Yi and Su Xing heard the news, they could hardly believe it. "How could Chi-Chen take your place in the performance?" Chen Yi snorted disdainfully. "What kind of good music can an athlete play?" In his eyes, sports and arts programs are just a way out for underachievers. However, the skepticism did not dampen our enthusiasm. As the evening began and the lights came on, I led all the girls in the class in a graceful dance, while the gentle strains of the piano and a deep resonant voice slowly filled the air. Everyone was amazed. The audience erupted in thunderous applause and cheers. That's amazing. The girls in our class are absolutely stunning. What other surprises do you have up your sleeve that I don't know about? Hey, sports committee. Why are you swimming? Why don't you just go pro? After the performance, Chi-Chen walked over to me, looking rather smug. What? I didn't embarrass you, did I? I looked at him, my eyes practically sparkling with adoration. Honey, you're the best. He tilted his head. Of course, our performance was extremely well received, and, as expected, we took first place. Chi-Chen and I went up on stage to accept the award as representatives. The principal looked delighted. I had no idea the students at our first high school were so talented. In previous years, we've always chosen students with top grades to speak on behalf of the class. But our goal is to foster well-rounded development in morality, intellect, physical fitness, and the arts. I'm confident that in the future, our students will shine in every field. All right then. Lin Yueye and Chi-Chen, as outstanding representatives, please go ahead and say a few words. We were a little taken aback. His gaze swept across the audience. Su Xing clutched the prepared speech tightly in both hands, his face betraying his reluctance. Xin Yi's gaze fell on us, his expression complex. I stood on stage and took a deep breath. Hello, everyone. My name is Lin Yueye. My mother was an outstanding classical dancer, and under her influence, I embarked on this path at the age of 7. From the very beginning, as I practiced the basics and fell and got back up countless times, there was never a moment when I thought of giving up. Dance has taught me not only graceful movements, but also resilience and perseverance and the relentless pursuit of my dreams. My dream is to attend the Beijing Dance Academy and win the Tally Cup Championship. Chi-Chen also stepped forward, his tall figure standing out strikingly. Hello everyone. I'm Chi-Chen, a sports student who loves swimming. From the fear and despair of my first near drowning at age 8 to feeling completely at home in the pool at 18, every day of training has been a test of both my body and my willpower. Failure, injury, and self-doubt never made me give up. Because I have a dream. He paused, put aside all his frivolity, and looked at her with extraordinary determination. My dream is to attend Beijing Sport University and become an Olympic champion. The audience erupted in thunderous applause. At 18, those unfulfilled dreams will finally come true. After receiving the award and stepping off the stage, the girls in the class swarmed around him, hugging the trophy to take pictures. Let's ask someone to take a group photo for us, someone suggested. I smiled and waved at Su Xing. Su Xing, could you take a picture of us, please? After all, you're the only one who didn't participate. Su Xing fought back his anger and raised his phone. Chi-Chen strode over to Xin Yi, handed him the phone, and flashed a smug smile. Class representative, could you please take a picture of me and my wife? Xin Yi took it with a stern expression. Chi-Chen handed me the photo to look at. Is that okay? Me. So. Chi-Chen looked quite embarrassed. Well, I'll have to ask the class representative to go out of their way again. My wife isn't too happy about this. Xin Yi finally couldn't hold back any longer and shouted angrily at Chi-Chen. Chi-Chen, who do you think you are? He wrapped his long arms around me and smiled radiantly. Well, I guess you could say I'm Lin Yueye's husband. Xin Yi's face turned ashen, and he glared at him through clenched teeth. You're just some jockdo. You really think you're good enough for Xiaoyi, restoring the Olympic title? That's nothing but a pipe dream. I took a step forward. He looked at Xin Yi and gave a cold laugh. Chi-Chen, if I remember correctly, you ranked 25th in the province on this mock exam. Do you know how Chi-Chen did in the recent competition? 2nd in the province. 5th in the country. You're the one who's a poor student. What gives you the right to look down on others? I tugged at Chi-Chen's sleeve, turned around, and walked away with him. Send me the photo. I want to use it as my wallpaper. Wait a sec. I need to use the beauty filter. How can you, a grown man, be even paler than me? I pickled it in pool bleach. After school, Shani and I were walking home when Shani stopped me halfway there. I'm really frustrated. What are you doing? He explained. You don't have to take the exam for the Beijing Dance Academy. Come home, and I'll help you catch up on your academic studies. No. Thank you. Back when he used to tutor me, he was always extremely impatient. He couldn't figure out why I couldn't understand such a simple problem. Every time he helps me, it's like torture for him. It was my fault about the gala program. I apologize. He softened his tone, speaking with a rare gentleness. Will you stop throwing a tantrum? I chuckled. Shin-yi, I've never thrown a tantrum at you. You don't need to worry about my schoolwork. If you're bored, go talk to Su Xing about poetry, literature, and the philosophy of life. Ciao. I don't like Su Xing. He hurriedly explained and assured me that I'll put Beijing on my college application. We'll be together after graduation. I promise. I frowned and called him out on his lie. But didn't you and Su Xing just apply to prestigious universities abroad? Oh no. I was just giving it a try. I never actually planned to go abroad. I just found it absolutely hilarious. In our last life, he had also promised to go to Beijing with me, right up until the day of my art school entrance exam. Su Xing deliberately told me. Shin-yi asked me where I wanted to go to college, and I told him I wanted to study abroad. So he applied to the same school as me. He didn't leave that out of the story, did he? She put on an air of superiority, her face full of disgust. Lin Yue, yeah. How much longer are you going to keep pestering him? It's obvious he doesn't like you. In the whole world, only Shin-yi is worthy of me, and only I am worthy of him. That time, because of Su Xing's provocation, I didn't get into the school I wanted. When I confronted him, Shin-yi simply brushed it off, saying that the opportunities abroad were better and that he didn't like Su Xing. He acknowledged our relationship and made me his girlfriend. Tell me, if we just wait a few years for him to graduate, we'll get married. I believed what he said. Once he graduated, he said he wanted to focus on his career first. He started a business with Su Xing, capitalized on the industry's boom, and the two saw their careers take off. During those years, I danced with the company, but my career never really took off. My teacher always says I have a natural talent, but my movements lack emotion. Shin-yi and Su Xing became the media's golden couple. A match made in heaven. The marriage he promised me has long been put on hold time and time again. I glanced at the date on the calendar. The college entrance exam is getting closer and closer. Anyway, Shin-yi is about to leave the country, so I won't be chasing after him anymore. In Chi-chen's tiny room, the two of us total underachievers were frantically cramming for exams. Who signed the Treaty of Shimonoseki? I didn't sign it. I know it wasn't you. In the Northern Sea there is a fish named Kuin. How vast is Kuin? How vast is Kuin? Can't you fit it all in one pot? Tired from studying? Want something to eat? Okay. I've been at it all night, but this stuff just won't stick. Early the next morning, when Chi-chen and I stepped outside, we unexpectedly ran into Shin-yi. His parents were right there with him. The group looked grim, their faces betraying shock and anger. Shin-yi was the first to confront me. Oh no. You haven't been staying in the dorm at all, have you been staying at his place these past few days? I didn't deny it. That's right. When his parents heard this, their faces immediately turned pale. Oh no. You're such a decent girl, how can you be so shameless? We've always treated you like our own daughter and raised you like a princess. Yet you've gone and fallen so low as to live with some lowlife. Get the hell home right now. I stood there quietly, listening to their every mocking word. He gave a slight smile and spoke calmly. Uncle and Aunt, I can't thank you enough for taking care of me all these years. But I'm an adult now, and I can make my own way in life. It's true that you've spent a lot of money raising me over the years, but the business my parents left me after they passed away has always been managed by you. The profits from that must far exceed the cost of raising me. Right. I won't ask for it back, consider it my way of thanking you for raising me, but I won't be troubling you anymore. I'll have my lawyer handle the handover. Upon hearing this, the two were instantly overcome with rage. Lin Yue, yeah. Do you think we raised you just for your family's money? I knew it's different when they're not your own flesh and blood. After raising them all these years, all I get is an ungrateful wretch. You're not the brightest. But we've never looked down on you. We've always seen you as our future daughter-in-law. How have you repaid us? How can you do this to your parents, who are now in their graves? Scenes from the past flashed through my mind. I used to naively believe their words and struggled desperately in the face of their indifference. But in this life, I will never let myself be pushed around again. Oh. Do you treat me like your own daughter? Do you see me as your future daughter-in-law? In the previous life, everyone was swooning over Shen-Yi and Su Xing. No one even knows I'm his official girlfriend. I couldn't accept it. So I went online and exposed my relationship with Shen-Yi. Mr. and Mrs. Shen confronted me angrily, asking, Lin Yue, do you realize this will ruin Shen-Yi's reputation and harm his career? He's already made you his girlfriend, and we accept you too. What more do you want? If you just sit around doing nothing day after day, you'll end up getting jealous. Just look at Su Xing. How did she become so outstanding? When interviewed by the media, however, the two of them said, Xiao. It's because she was betrothed to Xiaoyi since childhood. Her parents passed away when she was young, so we took her in out of pity and have always treated her like our own daughter. She's been very attached to her older brother ever since she was little. Before I knew it, my name was all over the gossip columns. We were betrothed as kids. What era is this? Why are we still doing arranged marriages? They took her in, and she repaid their kindness with ingratitude. What an ungrateful person. Even though the star duo is a campus couple, that scheming stepsister just has to meddle. I heard she was a real troublemaker in school and used to bully Su Xing all the time. He's so desperate to be famous. I heard he's just some unknown dancer. Dancing? Are we dancing on the edge? Judging by the way she looks, she's definitely had work done. She's completely outshone by Su Xing's aloof, goddess-like aura. During that time, I was doxxed, cyberbullied, and abandoned by the whole world. It's all thanks to them. So this time, I will definitely not make the same mistake again. Lin Yue, if you ever regret this, don't come crying back to us. Aunt Shen spat out those words with such venom, as if she were certain my future would be a miserable one. Shen-Yi stood there, astonished by my words and actions, and angrily confronted me. Oh no. How could you talk to my parents like that? Don't you have a conscience? I curled the corners of my mouth in a dismissive, cold smile. No, I'm just an ungrateful wretch. Please, spare me. Shen-Yi's parents tugged him along, telling him, Son, let's go home. Don't have anything to do with her from now on. I stood there quietly for a long time. Before I knew it, Shen-Yi suddenly pulled me into a hug and whispered to me, Lin Yue, did you lie to me? Were you unhappy in your past life? My eyelid twitched, and my nose started to tingle. Actually, we didn't start dating right after high school. I chased after Shen-Yi for many years, only to end up covered in wounds. When I was 25, my depression was so severe that I attempted suicide. And then I accidentally fell off the stage. That's when you showed up. You said, Lin Yue, I'm the world champion now. I'll clear your name. Marry me, and I'll make you the happiest person in the world just to spite that pair of bastards. On the day we got married, you announced to the media, this is my wife, the girl I've had a crush on for years. So many people have criticized you for letting lust cloud your judgment and have unfollowed you. But you don't care. You say that athletes are judged by their performance. You took me to see doctors all over the place to get my leg treated and do physical therapy. Played the piano for me when I was anxious, and sang to me. Holding me as we slept became my secret remedy for restlessness. You gradually healed me, and I returned to the stage. I held him tight and whispered in his ear, every day I spend with you is a happy one. He patted me on the back, once, then again. But I still showed up too late. I leaned against Chi-Chen, making sure he didn't see the tears in my eyes. I didn't tell him that. In fact, we didn't live happily ever after. Chi-Chen married me when he was at the peak of his career. At that time, He had won the Grand Slam and was a national hero. But an athlete's prime lasts only a few years. No one stays at the top forever. But everyone has such high expectations of him that even if he finishes second, people will blame it on me, saying he wasn't focused on training because of me. Until one competition, when he was already carrying an injury and then unexpectedly came down with a high fever right before the event. I was so worried that I insisted he withdraw from the competition. But at that moment, a fanatic fan swung a knife at me. He kept saying that he was the one holding him back. Chi-Chen instinctively shielded me with his body. With the college entrance exams approaching, Chi-Chen and I were cramming for our academic subjects while frantically honing our professional skills. Fortunately, in the next competition, Chi-Chen won the provincial championship. I'm devoting all my energy to preparing for the art college entrance exams. On the day of the exam, I rubbed his gold medal, desperately trying to soak up some of his good luck. With the gold medal buff boosting my performance, I played consistently well throughout the match. I actually came in first on the arts entrance exam. As soon as I stepped out of the exam room, I was planning to give him a big hug. I never expected to run into my favorite celebrity. He was tall and handsome, and he actually waved at me. "Hi, you danced really well just now." I was over the moon. So I asked Chi-Chen to take a picture of us. The heartthrob looked at the person with the sour expression and asked curiously, "Who is he?" "Oh, it's my classmate." On the way back, someone was acting like a winner. "Who are my classmates? Why aren't you calling me hubby anymore?" So once you get it, you don't love it anymore. Is that it? Me. Shut up. I'm just the other woman. Right. I'm just a joke, aren't I? Me. Don't make me kiss you in front of all these people. He shut up instantly. I gave him a little poke in the side. "When can we kiss?" He blushed. "Wait until no one's around." Before long, the college entrance exam results were released, and both Chi-Chen and I passed the cutoff score. They all received acceptance letters from their dream schools. What I didn't expect, though, was that Shenyi didn't go abroad to study. Instead, both he and Su Xing were admitted to the same university in Beijing. The pairing of these two academic stars from the same class continues to cause quite a stir at school. They will still compete together and win awards together. Someone posted a photo of the two of them on the school forum, remarking that they were a perfect match. In the face of the public speculation, Shenyi flatly denied it. "We're just classmates. I have someone I like." Later, people realized that he actually seemed to have someone he liked. He enjoys watching classical dance performances. Every time he goes there, he picks up a bouquet of sunflowers. Some people speculate that they're for a girl he likes. By then, we were already sophomores. Thanks to his outstanding academic performance, Chi-Chen made the national team. I became an overnight internet sensation after working as a dance double on a wildly popular TV series. Netizens are full of praise. Lin Yui's dance was absolutely amazing. No wonder she was the top scorer on the arts entrance exam back then. With a face and figure like that, why don't you consider going into show business? I heard my sister has a show coming up. So I rushed to buy tickets last night. Every performance at the theater was sold out. Gradually, people began to notice. In the front row of every performance, there's always a young man holding a sunflower, quietly watching the stage. Later, word got around. I don't know who started it. The boy was a top student at a prestigious university and had grown up with me. Netizens have started shipping us like crazy. Just then, Su Xing posted a photo of himself and Shenyi together from their match online, with the caption, "The people who understand each other best." However, this time, it was met with a barrage of criticism. "It's not this girl." Shenyi has already denied it. "She's just a classmate of yours. Why are you trying to ride her coattails?" Hey, sis, you're desperate to be famous, aren't you? Su Xing used to look down on people because of her grades when she was in school, and everyone found her pretty annoying. "What business is it of yours that we've known each other since childhood? Who gave you the confidence to think Shenyi would like you?" She looks totally scheming and malicious. Tsukino completely outshines her in figure, looks, and poise. Online gossip news has reached unprecedented levels of popularity. Xinyi's parents even gave an interview to the media, stating, "Xiao Yi, she's our daughter-in-law. She and Xiao Yi grew up together. They were betrothed as children. After Xiao Ye's parents passed away, we took her into our home, trained her in dance, and raised her as our own daughter." Seeing how different the couple's attitudes were, I couldn't help but laugh. I ignored all their conciliatory calls and immediately sent them the contract that I had drafted with a lawyer back then. It clearly states the money they've earned over the years from my family's business. I thought this couple was so kind. But it turns out they're just out to exploit the destitute. Ono has been dancing since he was 7. It's not like you trained him. You suck the life out of people and still expect them to be grateful that you have any shame. Many media outlets have been asking me about my relationship with Xinyi. I heard Xinyi and you grew up together. I thought about it. We're from the same village, but we don't know each other. She quickly posted a Weibo message, tagging Qi Chen. "This is my husband, not yet legally married." Overnight, Qi Chen's account gained a huge number of followers. Holy cow. Tsukino's curated selection really lives up to its name. It turns out all the handsome guys have been handed over to the government. With that curvy figure and those long legs, I can't even imagine how fun it would be to sleep on this. What a perfect match. I am totally shipping them. That night, I slept on a set of six-pack abs and felt incredibly happy. He's long past the age where the slightest touch would set him off. There are so many different styles, and they really go all out. I was gradually losing my footing. "You've already swum 3,000 meters. How come you still have so much energy to spare? Time for bed. I'm so sleepy," I shouted in protest. Seize his rebellious claws. "Tie my clothes up for me." He deftly dodged the blow, his voice hoarse. "Honey, how can you call that sleeping when you're fully clothed?" After the show, I saw Xinyi again. People really are pathetic. Back when I was chasing after him, he couldn't care less. Now that I'm avoiding him, he's like a mangy dog I can't shake off. He held the flowers, looking dejected. "Oh no. I understand. I know I did a lot of things in the past that hurt you, but I really do love you. All these years, I always thought you'd look back at me." He kept his head down, his voice hoarse, his eyes red. "I don't understand why you suddenly don't care about me anymore." I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down. But the scenes from my past life kept haunting me like a nightmarish dream. "Xinyi, I had a dream. After graduation, you left me and Su Xing behind to study abroad. You said we'd get married once you graduated. I waited and waited until you finally graduated. But then you said you needed to establish your career before you could marry me, and asked me to wait a little longer. Later, you and Su Xing started a business together. You spent every waking moment together, admired each other, and became the golden couple in everyone's eyes. No one knew that I was your girlfriend. Back then, I begged you to come see my performance. Even if you'd just come once, or given me a single flower, I would have forgiven you. But you never came. Not even once." He stood there, stunned, unable to believe it. I looked at him and gave a wry smile. "Tell me, what kind of class does that little theater have? Do you have any idea how busy I am every day?" "Yeah. You were busy going on dates with Su Xing, ringing the bell at Nasdaq together, traveling together, and meeting each other's parents. I've waited for you for so many years. I refuse to accept this. But what can I do? Everyone thinks I'm the evil villainess. The truth is, I've been sick for a long time. In the end, I went crazy and tried to kill myself over and over again. Fed up with my constant emotional blackmail, you finally snapped and said, 'Isn't it enough that I'm marrying you?' But just before our wedding, Su Xing sent me her pregnancy report. And I, in a daze, fell from the high stage and became lame. I closed my eyes for a moment, feeling a lump in my throat. In the end, your parents gave me some money and told me to fend for myself." He paused for a moment, then explained nervously, How could I do this? I'm not the kind of person who would do this. Oh no. I told you I'd always protect you. It was just a dream. I shook my head indifferently. No, Chen-yi. I may not be the brightest, but I'm not stupid either. I looked straight at him. Do you really like me? No. You're just not willing to let it go. You're so smart, you know what I like. You know why I'm unhappy. And you know how to cheer me up. Yet you refuse to do any of it, letting me suffer time and time again. All you're enjoying is my adoration for you and Su Xing's admiration. You just want to have your cake and eat it too. Put away your cheap affection. I don't want it. And you're not good enough for me. After joining the national team, Qi-chen began competing in international competitions. He has also been breaking his own records time and time again. The whole world saw his brilliance. After gaining some recognition, I devoted myself entirely to preparing for the Tally Cup competition. The Peach and Plum Cup is the most prestigious award in the dance world. My mother's greatest regret before she passed away was that she never won a championship. So I've made up my mind to do my absolute best to make up for that regret. Qi-chen and I haven't spent much time together. If you think about it, it was a rare moment when the two of them went on a date near the school. I had barely taken a few steps when a car suddenly came speeding out of the intersection. Qi-chen reacted almost instantly, shielding me with his body. After a loud crash, they both fell to the ground. Scenes of him covered in blood from his past life flashed before his eyes, and it felt as if an invisible giant hand were clutching his heart tightly. I was shaking all over and screaming his name at the top of my lungs. Qi-chen, honey. I'm fine. I'm fine. He fumbled around trying to calm me down. Don't cry. Don't cry. It's just a scrape, you'll be fine. I was already in tears, trembling as I stroked his face, unable to speak. You bastard. You gave me a heart attack. You're not dead. You're not dead. I held him tight. From now on, no getting hurt, no bleeding, and no standing in front of me. He nodded repeatedly. All right, all right, all right. But I don't know, no matter how many times we start over. The moment danger strikes, he'll still instinctively shield me. It took us a long time to come to our senses. Only then did he realize that the person in the car was none other than Su Xing. Lin Yue, yeah. So you're not dead after all. She stared at me intently, her face deathly pale, her eyes vacant. However, her features had changed beyond recognition. It looks really fake. You can totally tell she's had plastic surgery. For a while, there were rumors that Su Xing had started going on a plastic surgery spree. I didn't pay much attention to them, but it turns out they were actually true. A high school classmate once gossiped that she was the one who confessed her feelings to Chen-yi. Chen-yi rejected him without hesitation, saying that her behavior was utterly disgraceful. Su Xing wasn't willing to accept that and pressed for an explanation. Chen-yi snapped impatiently. For many things, the answer might just be found by taking a closer look in the mirror. Back then, a lot of people online criticized her, saying that ugly people tend to make a fuss. She started getting plastic surgery, but the more she had done, the less satisfied she became with her face. But I heard her family wasn't very well off, so she eventually started taking out online loans. My studies have suffered as a result, and the school has disciplined me. In the end, unable to pay off her debts, she actually became the mistress of a middle-aged businessman. Su Xing stared at me like a madman, shouting at the top of his lungs. It's all your fault. You've ruined my whole life. Lin Yue, yeah. Why is it that everyone adores you, while I'm forced to live in the shadows? I'm so much better than you. I smiled calmly. Maybe it's karma. I looked at Su Xing, who once stood before me so proud and arrogant but now lay there in such a pitiful state, and remained silent for a moment. Call the police. The year I graduated from college. Hard work pays off. I won the Tally Cup championship. As soon as I stepped off the stage, I saw someone holding a bouquet of flowers and waving their arms. I ran happily into his arms and asked him, "Do I dance well?" "She's absolutely gorgeous. She looks like a fairy." He stared at me like a pervert. Question King Zhou. Understand King Zhou, and become King Zhou. That same year, Qi-chen represented the country at the Olympics. At the age of 22, he swam with all his might in the pool. leaving the world record mark far behind with astonishing speed and perseverance, achieving yet another breakthrough. At the awards ceremony, as he watched the 5-star red flag rise slowly, his eyes welled up with tears. When a reporter from Zugwo interviewed him, he could no longer hold back his emotions and burst into tears. "Thank you, motherland. Thank you, coach. Thank you. Thank you, my wife." His voice choked up, tears streaming down his face. And the more he cried, the more emotional he became. In the end, the reporters all gathered around him to coax him. Just then, as if he'd suddenly remembered something, he fumbled nervously in his pocket and pulled out a diamond ring. I couldn't stop crying. The reporters looked at me helplessly, clearly at their wits' end. "You'd better agree to it, or you'll really have a hard time getting him to calm down." I looked at this total embarrassment and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She rushed over, embraced him, and slipped the ring onto her own finger. "Oh, come on, come on. I promised you." After a long while, someone asked me, blushing, "Honey, did I just make a fool of myself?" I sighed. "Well, I guess it's okay." He gave his word. Next time I definitely won't cry." I was speechless and rolled my eyes at him. She says that every time. And every time she drops a little pearl, half the water in the pool is his. In the years that followed, Chechen represented his country and won one honor after another. Through my own hard work, I've made it to a bigger stage. At the age of 28, Chechen retired from swimming. Having achieved a distinguished career, he began coaching young athletes to help them break their personal records. I, too, stepped aside to make way for younger dancers and returned to the lectern to teach. That year, we started trying to have a baby. I asked him, a little worried, "Do you think our child might be really slow?" He said, "If you're exceptional, serve your country. If you're ordinary, stay close to your parents. None of us has ever had a complete family or experienced true love. We'll raise our younger selves all over again." 10 years after graduation, we attended the school's anniversary celebration as distinguished alumni. I was accompanied by a few of my old classmates. Suddenly, someone remarked, "Hey, do you guys know Shani? I heard his family went bankrupt." I heard that when he started his business right after graduation. He made a fortune buying land and building buildings. But then the industry went into a slump. His cash flow dried up. And it seems his investors lost a lot of money too. Now the company has gone bankrupt. And all his assets have been seized. I paused for a moment. For a split second, the name struck me as completely unfamiliar. "Hey, Tsukino, didn't you used to have a crush on him back then?" I shook my head vigorously. "No way.